Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm Rick Fussell and this is the Ingrain Workshop. In today's video, we're going to be doing a DIY project for the Supervisor. We're going to be replacing the pump in our 3-tier fountain. That's coming up next here at the Ingrain Workshop. Back in August of last year, when Hurricane Helene rolled through our area here in Florida, our fountain took quite a hit. A bunch of debris got sucked up into the pump, and when the power finally did come back on, well, let's just say the impeller didn't survive. I'm pretty sure the motor shaft either broke or stripped out, so today we're swapping it out for a brand new pump. The new pump I'm installing is a total pond fountain pump, designed for fountains up to 7 feet high, which is perfect for this 3-tier fountain I have here. It pushes up to 533 gallons per hour at a max flow and comes with a nice 16-foot long power cord, a must-have for this setup. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the video description below so you can check it out. Now let's talk performance. At 0 feet, it cranks out 533 gallons per hour. At 1 foot, you're looking at 475 gallons per hour. At 7 feet, it's down to 90 gallons per hour. And at 8 feet, well, let's just say you're getting 0. So plan accordingly. Power-wise, it runs at 42 watts, pulling 0.6 amps. Not bad for what it does. Another plus is the 3 different water output connections. You get a 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch, and then 3/4 of an inch. So you've got options depending on your setup. All right, let's open this thing up and see what's inside. We've got the instruction manual, which we may or may not read. The pump itself. Then you've got the 16-foot power cord, which is primarily why I purchased this pump, and then the 3 threaded outflow connectors. Now let's get to the fun part, ripping out the old pump and installing the new one. So here's the fountain, looking more like an abandoned relic than a peaceful water feature. In case you haven't noticed, it's been out of commission for months, and while I've come up with plenty of excuses to delay this project, the supervisor has finally had enough. Today is reckoning day. Step 1, digging out the existing electrical power cord. It runs from the exterior timer at the house and is buried under the rocks, leading to the end of a 1-inch conduit. Once I uncover the conduit, I can start prepping the new cord. To make this easier, I'm using some orange masonry string to help pull the new cord through. The plug on the pump has holes in each prong, so I'll thread the string through it and tie it off, basically turning it into a makeshift fishing line. Next, at the base of the fountain tier, I've got an access cutout that lets me service the pump. First, I'll disconnect the outfeed pipe, which is just a threaded connection. Then I'll remove the 1-inch electrical conduit. Now this conduit isn't glued, it's just a dry fit connection, meaning I can pull it off easily. The reason it's here in the first place is to keep water from siphoning out of the fountain. Since the pond water isn't under pressure, this setup works fine without leaks. With the conduit out of the way, I can pull the old power cord out along with my trusty masonry string, which is about to come in handy for installing the new pump. Alright, let's bring you in for a closer look at what's going on inside the base of the fountain tier. Here you can see the 1-inch conduit with my trusty masonry string fed through it. Now remember that extension piece I removed earlier? Without it, you can see how water would happily siphon right out under the basin, leaving the supervisor with just a fancy-looking bird bath instead of a fountain. That extension sits higher than the water level, which prevents that problem. To the right, you'll see the flexible 5/8 inch water line. This runs from the basin up through all the tiers and discharges at the top of the fountain. Instead of replacing the whole thing, I simply disconnected the old fitting from the old pump so I can reuse it on the new one. The water line is secured with a stainless steel band clamp, making the connection solid. So now all that's left is to thread the old pump fitting onto the new pump. Next, I'll feed my masonry string through the conduit extension, tie it to the new pump's plug, and pull the new cord through. With the new plug pulled all the way through the conduit, I can now take out the slack and reinstall the dry fit conduit extension at the base of the fountain. And yeah, apologies in advance for the top of the head shot, but as you can see, it's pretty tight space to work in. Here's a close-up look at the new pump, all installed and ready to go. The only thing left to do here is replace the cutout access block and fill this thing up with water. Pro tip, if you're ever having one of these fountains installed, here's something to consider. Before they poured the foundation, I roughed in 2 3/4 inch PVC pipes. one for the water inlet and one for the drain outlet. The PVC pipe cut flush with the basin bottom is my drain line. So instead of hauling out a 5-gallon bucket and bailing water like I'm on a sinking ship, I can just let gravity do the work and drain the basin with ease. The taller PVC pipe is my water inlet, which I've got tied into the hose bib on the side of my house. That means when it's time to refill the fountain, I don't have to drag out a hose every time. I just turn the valve on and fill her up. Makes maintenance a whole lot easier. The last step, plug it into the timer and fire it up. And just like that, boom, a volcanic explosion. Or maybe more accurately, like an old man's bladder. A little slow at first, but once it gets going, there's no stopping it. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as the supervisor did. And if you did, then please leave it a like. If you're new to the channel and you like DIY and woodworking projects, then I highly recommend that you smash that subscribe button. It's free and painless, and I'd also ask that you ring that bell icon. That way you'll be notified of all our upcoming videos. To all my existing subscribers, I really appreciate all the support that you've given this channel. Now I'll leave links in the video description below to where you can pick up all the tools and equipment that I used on this project. I'm Rick with the Ingrain Workshop, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful day and God bless.